DETV Sports Update is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Live from our Wilmington studios, we are back with our first show of 2024 here on DETV Sports. What's up, everybody? We are back better than ever after a few-week hiatus. A lot has happened since the last time that we all got together. So we've got a lot to talk about as we welcome in, as usual, the whole crew here. Jason McCall. Jason, Happy New Year. First time we've all been together here in 2024. I'm sure you were somewhere on New Year's Eve. What were you up to over the holiday? How was the holiday? And happy to be back.
Well, you know, a holiday went on a little bit of a mini tour, if you will. Went to see some family in Tennessee and Mississippi. Then flew out Christmas morning to the Levi Stadium to see the Niners play.
The great Levi Stadium.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's a very great stadium.
Yeah, Jason said that. He said that.
They have 8K jumbotrons and everything. You know, but we had to show them what it looked like on paper and in real life on the field too with that Ravens victory. Mm-hmm. But you know, no, great atmosphere. I love Niners fans. They're actually real knowledgeable football fans, unlike Eagles fans.
Had to get a shot.
I had to. Then you know, enjoyed the New Year's. You know, went to a little gala out of town, and now back here. You know, and my birthday's tomorrow, so I'm feeling real good right now. You know,
right. I got a happy early birthday, Jason.
Yeah. Birthday hits.
What are we getting into tomorrow night? That's right.
No birthday hits.
No show tomorrow night.
No show tomorrow night, but I will be attending the Terrapins and Wolverines game at College Park tomorrow night.
Should have known he'd be somewhere. I hope, though, you know, that you are saving and racking up those miles. I don't know, whatever airlines you're using, Southwest Airlines, whatever. I hope you're racking up those travel points.
Listen, Southwest, baby, we good to go. You know, we're good to go.
As long as it ain't Spirit, you good.
I don't think that spirits. You know, I'm trying to make it back in one piece.
There you go.
It's been a while, but again, last time we talked was ahead of that Ravens-Niners game. Big win for your Ravens, who lock up that top seed.
Bang bang
in the AFC. We will get to them a little bit later on as we preview the entire playoffs. Matthew Maurer, welcome back. How we doing? First show here in 2024.
Doing great.
How was your new year? How you got some draft stuff going on, I'm sure. And what have you been up to? Educate the people.
I mean, I've been doing great, man. I was here for the DETV health awareness for mental health and, you know, for the New Year's. So that was awesome. It was a great function that was going on, and it was beautiful. They had the whole studio decked out, and it was all the way out to the lobby, and some really good people, great music. So yeah, I had a good time with the wife, and enjoyed and took in the new year. And after that, you know, healed from the beatdown that we got from the Ravens, and went on Madden, and then proceeded to beat the dog out of Ravens.
Just get some revenge.
You know, I do that virtually. You know what I mean? I do it virtually. And then after that, you know, then I just, you know, getting ready for the draft. You know, again, it's an arduous process all the year through. And then, of course, we talked about it before we got on the show. Also checked out some latest mocks for the NFL draft that's coming up. So that was interesting after the championship game, seeing where they had certain guys slotted. So yeah, it's going to be a good off season, I think, coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. We'll talk, of course, about the draft as we get closer to draft time. Now just a few months away. We'll have the Senior Bowl coming up in Alabama in a few months, so a lot to do with college football. But for the most part, that's wrapped up. We'll quickly talk about Michigan and their national championship run with their win over Washington on Monday. We'll talk about the coaching carousel here in the NFL. 7 positions now open across the league. Maybe we see some more. Bill Belichick, questionable. We'll see how that progresses here the rest of the week. Nick Saban in bombshell news. I got a call from Jason earlier today, broke the news to me. Nick Saban retiring from college football. Maybe college football's all-time greatest
bomb,
coach.
shorty. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But again, out of nowhere, Nick Saban no longer the coach at Alabama. He will be stepping down, retiring from a Hall of Fame career. So we got a lot to get into. First, though, let's start with this Nick Saban news. Kind of, Jason, here as we start there. It's out of nowhere. Announced a few hours ago. Just your initial reaction, and what do you think the state of Alabama now will be, you know, going forward?
I think everyone's reaction was just like mine, which was wow. If you're on the inside, that was your first reaction. But after reading reports and hearing different things, you understand a little bit more about why he did retire. Coach Saban is 72 years old.
Low key, yeah.
He's getting up there in age, but also he's been around for a long time. You add up all his years with the NFL and college football is at least almost 40 years of coaching. So, you know, it's in a sense it was time, but at the exact same time, I feel like he left the game in good hands at Alabama. But I also think this is part of his frustration with the state of college sports right now. And there's more to that I think will come out in the next few months. And Deion Sanders actually mentioned that in his tweet to congratulate Coach Saban on his retirement. But he mentioned about the state of college sports and that some truths need to be dealt with and handled. But I'm not really an Alabama fan, so for me, I'm happy, you know, to be honest with you.
I'm happy too.
However, they're still in the SEC. They'll still get top recruits. They'll still get people to come there. But I will be looking at the portal in the next few months. See how many people actually leave Alabama now with this news. Because who will they hire as his replacement?
And a lot of rumors going around earlier. There's a lot of time. Remember, this just happened a few hours ago. But Dan Lanning getting a lot of run here out in Oregon. Great year for them this year. Lost in the Pac-12 championship to Washington. You know, had them playing well, but of course he had to dismiss some other rumors earlier about him not leaving Oregon. So he's already talked about how him not wanting to leave Oregon, but this is a new opportunity here in this Alabama job. You know, comes up there. Nick Saban. Maybe Matt with his best coaching job, you guys could argue, this season, almost of his career. I thought this team, you know, took an early loss to Texas. Jalen Milroe, a talented quarterback, but maybe not like some of the quarterbacks that he's had in the past. You know, Jalen Hurts, Tua, Mac Jones, guys like that. That'll be first-round NFL draft picks. He took this team all the way back to, or got to the college football playoff in Michigan, the national champions in overtime. I think he did a hell of a job this year. Your thoughts just on Nick Saban retiring?
I mean, look, he milked the game. Milked the game really good. I mean, during his Alabama career, he's made $120 million. So, I mean, what more to be said? I mean, he's hats off. I mean, he's got his bread. He's got his money. I do agree with Jason. I think a lot of this was some of the frustration with all these NILs and all the things that the college sports is going through. But, you know, again, I hate to see all these millionaires cry because at the end of the day, when now that the rabbit has the gun, now you want to be mad about it. Well, I mean, the NCAA kind of put you guys in this position because they didn't want to pay and didn't want to get into this realm for over 20 years. So now that we see all this turmoil going on with the transfer portals, with guys, you know, with the recruiting, with the NIL deals now being a major thing, I mean, really, at the end of the day, I don't know why anybody's upset. I mean, this has been going on. Back then it was called the bagman that would give these kids money to go sign to these schools, boosters. Mm-hmm. And now that it's all come out in the light, now people want to protest and, you know, put their moral high hats on. And it's like, look, come on, man, calm down. This has been going on. You guys know this has been going on. But when the game was going well for you, you know, you was eating and you was eating well. And look, hats off to Nick. I mean, I hope he has, I think he has like an island that he bought for like $90 million. Something crazy. It's something crazy. You guys can go research it. It was something crazy. He's got so much money that he's made over his career. I mean, he's got generational wealth. Look, I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about in coaching. We hate to talk about it, but look, money works, you know.
Yeah. So look,
I respect what he's done. Respect his career. I think he'll go down as probably one of the best colleges coaches of all time. I don't know how many. Maybe John Wooden, if we're talking about just other sports, where that could maybe bleed into his area.
He's definitely in that. That's the realm.
Pat Summitt, Gino,
That's the tier he's in as far as college coaches. Like
sure.
That's like the fact that he passed Bear Bryant at Alabama and then won 2 or 3 more after that. Like that's and then he won at LSU as well. You know? Yeah. But he still has that Miami Dolphins thing on his record, too.
That's a fact.
And again, a lot of people, you know, don't remember that. He'll probably be remembered for a lot of his work, you know, with Alabama. Any moments you guys think stand out to you over his career? I know the one for me, being a big Florida Gator fan, was that SEC championship back when they were underdogs in Tim Tebow's senior year, knocking them off, going off to win the national championship. So that's the one that stands out to me. What do you think maybe, though, stands out to you about his career?
For me, who was stand out on
like a moment
career? I would say that 1994 Cleveland Browns coaching staff that he was on with Belichick and the Andy Reids and everybody was on that staff that ended up becoming NFL or great college coach at some point in time. Like that 94 Cleveland Browns coaching staff led by Bill Belichick was like the murderer's row of coaching today. Like everyone on that staff ended up being a great coach on professional level or college level. And it's just the fact that he came from that tree. And I respect his career at Michigan State, though. I think that's where he actually became a great college coach. Not LSU, not Alabama. The years at Michigan State, for me, will stand out more than anything. Because Alabama was just unfair. It was like, okay, you can get any player you want now because of the SEC budget. So
it was illegal.
That's for sure. They had some really good teams over those years, man. Anything stand out to you about his career?
I mean, honestly, just the dominance of talent he acquired. I mean, you're talking about a guy that had 44 first-round picks at Alabama, not even including his time at LSU. I mean, just at Alabama, to Jason's point, that's how crazy they got. I mean, and then just the running backs. I mean, Eddie Lacy, Robinson Jr. I mean,
Mark Ingram,
Richardson,
Derrick
Henry. People that transferred, TJ
Gibbs.
It was crazy.
Kamara was there as freshman.
Julio. I mean, it's just
Kenyon Drake. I mean, keep going.
NFL. I mean, that was the thing, is that he not only brought that talent in, but he made them better at Alabama. Those guys were not only first-round picks, but they were successful in the NFL, and a lot of those guys attributed that to Nick Saban.
And just think about it. He's only had really good quarterbacks the last 5 years.
That's it.
We're not tooting Greg McElroy's horn or
McCarron.
I'll tell you, man,
we're not doing none of that. But with the Tuas and the Jalen Hurts and the
Young,
the Milroe and all that, those are recent quarterbacks.
I think this year, and Milroe, not one of those upper echelon guys like the guys we mentioned, but again, that team this year, maybe not as talent as much as he's had in previous years, and still to get them to that point, beating Georgia in the SEC championship, going to the college football playoff, I thought that might have been the best job.
Also think about his coaching tree from Alabama. You got Kirby Smart going to Georgia and winning. You have Loxley at Maryland with Tua's younger brother. You have coaches from all other schools that have been through. Sark, you got
that's right. That's a great
Lane
point.
Kiffin. I mean, it's the legacy left behind, and he was a hard coach to coach for. I mean, to coach with and play for. Similar to a Belichick. Again, they come from the same coaching tree, so it's the same old school mentality. So I also think that I don't think his ways were going to work anymore, like as they have been in the past. I don't think it was relating to the players enough. So this had to come. I think it's going to come this year.
Right.
But it's here now. And, of course, we could talk about this. We talk about Belichick. We talk about Pete Carroll, all kinds of stuff. So, but hats off to Coach Saban, the GOAT of college football. I'll give it to him.
Again, we talked about the changes with the NIL, et cetera, and all that stuff. A lot of recent reports coming out, and this is a topic for another day, but a lot of these business people or businesses, people, et cetera, aren't seeing a lot of the return on investment for these NIL deals that these guys, kind of thought they were going to get. You see people give, players, so much money to do a car ad or something like that. So we'll see if that transitions. A lot of these guys aren't happy with the return on investment. So we'll see if that changes NIL in any way, shape, or form. You talked about the Cleveland Browns coaching staff back at '94, and they were flashing this on the screen during the last week of the regular season for the NFL. How about that 2013 Commanders coaching staff, if you will, with the Sean McVay,
Cal Shanahan,
LaFleur, Mike McDaniel,
the coordinator for the Texans right now, offensive coordinator.
Bobby Slowick.
Bobby Slowick,
right. Yeah. So Washington, they fired their head coach, Ron Rivera. We'll get into that.
All time.
And we're going to stick with college football just for a few more minutes. We got to highlight Michigan, the Wolverines, national championship.
Hail to the victors.
Went through some adversity earlier this season, but Jim Harbaugh wins a big national championship for Michigan, their first national championship in quite some time. So, guys, just initial reactions here. Matt, we'll start with you on Harbaugh, and what do you think of the way he's coached this year? Maybe you'll talk a little bit about what you thought about the sign-stealing scandal, if you have any thoughts there. And what do you think his next move is, Matt? He is now the favorite to be the head coach of the L.A. Chargers. We'll see if how that progresses as we go here in the coaching cycle. But Chargers and Raiders, two of the teams that have been kind of looking at him. He is the favorite for the Chargers, one of two finalists for the Raiders. It's supposed to be either Pierce or Harbaugh, so we'll see if that's the case there. What are your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh and whether he should stay or go here?
I mean, I think he wants to go. I think he's. I don't think he. I've never seen him as a pure college guy. I think he didn't like how things ended in San Fran.
You're a San Fran guy. You should know very well.
Yeah, I think he's always been a pro guy more than a college guy, and I think his goal was to win a title there at Michigan. He did it. So I think that all that's left for him now is to go back in the NFL, and I think he wants to win in the NFL. I have no sources, but I know for a fact he wasn't happy losing to his brother in the game that they played.
Oh, you mean at that Ravens Super Bowl?
That's a fact.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's the one. And listen, I think, look, hats off to what he did at Michigan. Look, there's always going to be an asterisk next to it on some level because people are going to talk about the stealing signs, and I've heard people say, well, everybody does it, and my theory about the everybody does it thing is everybody does it until the research happens, and then people say, well, not everybody does it like that. So like the Houston Astros, for example, when they everybody does it, and then you end up finding out, wait a minute, they got a buzzer that's attached to their clothing that lets them know what pitch is coming. That's a little different. So it's always like, I think the powers that be will probably be like, all right, let's get off this. Let's, they'll probably slide it under the rug because I don't think anybody really wants to get in depth about this because I think most coaches do steal, at the end of the day. But I hate it. It sounds stupid, but look, there are ethics to stealing. There's a difference between.
I know it sounds. It
sounds crazy.
No, I get where you're coming from. Though.
Yeah. Like there's ethics behind it. It's like if I have gamesmanship and I figure out your sign and I tell my teammates or we figure it out through scouting what you're doing. Yeah, that's gamesmanship. But if I'm sitting around and I have some elaborate way that I know what you're doing,
dressed up in other teams' gear on a sideline.
Yeah, like
that might be a little too far.
Yeah, so look, there's ethics behind it. But look, I don't think it's going to mar the title. I think the title is going to be solidified that it's theirs. And look, they beat Washington pretty soundly. And I just, I hate to say this, but I think the Pack showed that they're mid-conference. And they shouldn't have been in the game, like I said. But anyways, hail to the victors. Congratulations, Michigan.
Hail to the victors.
Jason, we talked about some of the head coaching opportunities. What are your thoughts on him being the favorite for the head coaching job with the Chargers? Do you think he should take it? And if you're the Chargers fan, et cetera, would you want him to be the head coach?
If I were Harbaugh, the NFL money is always going to be there. He's still young enough. I would stay at Michigan.
Defend the title?
And turn Michigan into what Alabama was with Nick Saban. And then go to the NFL. I win like another 2 or 3 more, 4 more titles. Because that, right now, state of college football, the next 2 teams that set up for an Alabama-like run, Georgia, and Michigan. And he finally got over the hump of beating Ohio State. Now he beat them the last 3 years in a row. They finally got over the hump with the college football playoff. The ride off into the sunset to the NFL sounds great. But, college is guaranteed money. You can get a buyout and still get $70 million and sit something you're behind. NFL, you have 2 years where you ain't doing nothing. You back on the trash heap again.
Yeah.
So, I would actually stay, even with the noise about the sign stealing. It's no coincidence they won in Houston the home of sign stealing for the national championship. Just saying. Put it out there.
I'm with you there. I think that he went through a lot this year. I do. I think with the NCAA, being suspended for those final 3 games, I think he wants to leave. I'm with Matt. I think he maybe wants to get out now. I think it might be a good time for him. But I have no problem with him staying at Michigan at all. I think that'd be great for the sport. I know everybody in college football would like him to stay. Just for the sake of the sport of college football. We'll see. I think he leaves, but again, who knows? What do I know? So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah. But Michigan, though, national champions.
Hail to the victors. First time since '97 since Charles Woodson was wearing that maize and blue.
That's right. That is right. That's true.
And truth be told, this is actually their first outright championship since
they shared that one, right?
They shared 97 and 91. This is their first outright championship since like 40 something like that.
We'll talk about the draft coming up, but J.J. McCarthy, 27-1. As a starter at Michigan. I was never a big J.J. McCarthy believer, to be honest with you, and I don't know how he'll be at the next level.
No.
I'm with you there. I'm not a big, he'll be an NFL quarterback, but you can't deny a heck of a college career for J.J.
He'll
McCarthy.
be a mid-round NFL draft pick between rounds 3 and 5. He'll be day 2 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. I think he's number 5 in Mel Kiper's rankings. We'll see where we have him, though. That's what matters come April. So we'll see what happens there. Let's get into the coaching carousel. And we spent our longest time on college football, as we have been all year. Yeah. So we talked about Saban. We talked about the national championship. Let's get to the NFL. 7 head coaching opportunities are now available here for this one. What I missed? Did I miss something?
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about some of these.
Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll, yeah. moving into an advisor role with the Seahawks was announced today, kind of pushing him out, if you will. I kind of wanted to see him stay. Had some success there. Very successful Super Bowl champ. What do you guys think?
Man, they just pushed this man to an early grave. That's really how I feel. I mean, Pete Carroll has the vitality, the vigor, the passion to coach, and the Seahawks are still a decent squad. They're probably a couple of 2 players away from being back in the mix like consistently. But yeah, I think this was a force out, and I mean the way he was crying today at that press conference, man, it was hard to watch. You know, he's one of the more likable football personalities. Great coach at every level. And yeah, I think he still got a few more years left, but we will see how much of an advisor he will actually be, because I don't think you want him to be that much of an advisor if he's still in the building and hiring a new coach. That's not going to look too good, because the new coach will always look over his shoulder to what Coach Carroll's going to be doing, even though he's not Coach Carroll anymore. So I don't like how that's going to shape up, honestly.
I mean, you could obviously, I think it was evident that he still wanted to coach. 72 years old, showed a lot of energy in that locker room the last few weeks, had some big wins to close out the season, including that big one, last-second victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw the energy in his celebration there at the locker room. I think this might have caught him off guard. I know this is something, seems like, as Jason said, something he's not really wanted to do or something that he was into. He wants to coach. I don't get the whole advisor role thing. If I'm him, I feel like he's being a real good sport about this, you know, being like, yeah, I could be an advisor with a team. There are some other teams around there I think would be willing to interview Pete Carroll. He could coach, I think, in a number of other places, but that doesn't seem to be the path that he's taking. What do you think, Matt, on his decision, or I guess their decision to push him out into this advisor role? And if he wanted to coach, why not go somewhere else?
I think his heart's in Seattle. I think it's all. Yeah. I think he's just got so
so
much inroads into that community.
That's tough to swallow.
It is, and I don't agree with.
To me.
Yeah, I don't agree with how they did it, but I think at the end of the day, I don't see him going anywhere. I think unlike
either, unfortunately.
Unlike Bill, I don't think he feels slighted. I think he just feels like this is bittersweet to him, and I think he's gonna be in that advisor role, whatever capacity that may be. But I don't think it's like Bill Belichick where there's like bitterness when he leaves. I think this is emotional for him because he's kind of like a Dick Vermeil type guy. He really believes in guys. He really loves the players and wants the players the best for him. So I think for him, there's a lot of emotion just as a whole, as a player, as a coach, as being somebody who appreciates the players. I think that's what you saw today. So yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think to your point, I think there's probably going to be some teams that will probably kick the tires and be like, hey. And he'll be like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. I just don't think he's going to go anywhere.
And again, this year, I mean, Geno Smith had a good year last year, comes back this year. They don't have a lot of talent, even some talent there in Seattle. No. I thought he did a great job with them again this year. So he will no longer be there. We'll see how the Seahawks do next year under a new head coach. Quickly about the Washington Commanders. As expected, Ron Rivera is out. Riverboat Ron no longer in D.C. with the Commanders. Their tough season
should never get another job.
Comes to an end. Josh Harris, as you all know, I've been vocally about him. Not a fan of him having owning three different city teams. He owns the New Jersey Devils, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Washington Commanders, all rivalries in some way. So I'm against Josh Harris in that, but he's new in there. They get rid of Schneider, so now everybody thinks they can go to the Commanders, maybe a place that will start to turn with Magic Johnson. They're looking for a new head coach. What do you think about the Commanders, Jason? Where do they go here?
As a person who is from Maryland and they play in Largo, and having friends and family who are lifelong diehard Washington fans, this is like a dream come true for them right now. With the change of ownership and with the firing of Ron Rivera, everybody's looking for a fresh start. And to your point about Josh Harris, I think that's the reason why the ownership group is so big. So you have to have so much control and so much vested interest in like the daily operations of this team. He trusts the team he has around him and the rest of the ownership group. So I think that's where the conflict of interest will kind of like die down, if you will. But I'm very happy with this decision. Finally, I should have been fired 2 years ago, in my opinion. And I'm not sure if Bieniemy is the coach for that team either, to be honest. Before they started asking that question, I believe he deserves a shot as a head coach, but I'm leaning 50-50 towards it, should it be in Washington or not. But like I said, the city is happy, the fans are happy. They've already started doing renovations to FedEx until they build a new stadium, so Yeah, it's happy times in D.C. right now.
And what are your thoughts on a potential move? Right, there's been a few
talks
the
about
move
them
moving right to Virginia.
To Virginia, yeah. So Ted Leonsis, the owner of the Wizards and Capitals, he's already moving the Wizards and Caps out of D.C. So that's already going to happen. Yeah. They're going to the Nova area around Arlington. So I could see the Commanders following suit.
And we'll see what happens there. Commanders around Rivera, and they'll be looking around. Not sure, again, they haven't really highlighted too many lead candidates right now, so we'll see how that search goes. We talked about the Chargers. Brandon Staley fired, which what we all said should have been a long time ago, but he got through almost this regular season before being let go. They had interim coach, and now, of course, as we talked about, Jim Harbaugh, one of the candidates. If Bill Belichick was to be let go, he'd be one of the candidates. An L.A. job, in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert, it's a pretty appealing head coach vacancy there. Matt, where do you see that going, and who do you think they might go after, or who they should go after?
I mean, the Chargers need to go after somebody with a name that has respect, because whether they know it or not, this hodgepodge of mediocre coaches, they're on the clock. I mean, they've got Herbert there. They've got depreciating assets in Mike Williams, who can't stay healthy. Keenan Allen's on the way out. Bosa
can't stay
healthy.
I have a hot take.
What's that?
I would say that Herbert is a depreciating asset. To be honest, I mean, that's one thing that you can name on that team, and he hasn't really been that good the last year and a half. I know there's injuries, but he's not like eye-popping, like, yo, if we put some people around him, he'll be okay. I haven't seen it yet.
I think the receiving core, too, I think Mike Williams got hurt the last 2 years. He hasn't had him. Palmer was hurt this year. Keenan Allen missed all of last year. He was finally back this year. Yeah. The offensive line was banged up this year. Not to mention, he's playing, as we talked about, with Brandon Staley as his head coach. That's kind of been hurting him.
So meaning what I'm saying is, I don't know how appealing this job actually is. That's my point. I don't know how, with that roster, I don't know how appealing it actually is. Yeah, it may be appeal of L.A. and playing in SoFi and I guess having Justin, but outside of having Justin, how appealing is this job really?
Well, if you compare, what job would you rather have, Seahawks or the Chargers?
Seahawks.
Yeah, I'd rather Seahawks. The culture's different.
Culture's different.
Interesting. Commanders or Chargers?
I would say
Panthers, Chargers, Falcons.
I would say Commanders over the Chargers.
I'm taking the Chargers over all those.
I would say Commanders because they're about to spend some money.
Chargers going to spend some money, too. They have said that.
Why do you feel so strongly about the Seahawks not being a good fit?
Quarterback situation alone. If you got Justin Herbert or you go Geno, I hate to say it, but he's not going to be the quarterback next year. And if he is, they got a problem. Drew Lock definitely isn't going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, but that buys you more time if you take that job, though.
That's what you think, but again,
you have no time in the Chargers.
You have no time.
No time.
None.
What time do you have?
What do you mean? Justin Herbert's got as much time as you want. He's a young
quarterback.
He
doesn't.
No, meaning whoever goes there has to win now. Like
they have to win exactly.
They
have to win now.
So I disagree with that.
With Justin Herbert, you gotta win.
How define winning? Like make the playoffs? Yeah, you're right. You gotta get.
No, I mean like go like a conference championship game within 2 years.
See, I don't think so. With the way that they've been trending, and you talked about the roster isn't as good as you thought about.
Wait a minute. Think about what we're saying here.
Yeah.
You're missing the names. You have Eckler. You have Williams.
Eckler was awful this year. Eckler was awful.
I agree, but to Jason and my point is it's depreciating assets, the whole thing there. And the carrot that everybody dangles in the NFL is you have a young quarterback. That's the carrot. There's no carrot in Seattle. It's you have a bridge player who you're waiting to draft a guy to take over. There's no bridge player for Herbert, so you can't go in there and say,
I got 3 years.
I got 3 years. No, you have a year to make the playoffs.
Maybe that's how you guys feel. If you were to go to these coaching candidates and tell you what job, they would 110% tell you.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Carolina. You think the coach that takes Carolina, you think he's on a good situation?
No, I don't, because I don't think Bryce Young is any good. I think Justin Herbert's 10 times better than
Bryce Young. But the problem with Bryce Young is we don't know.
I know he's 5'11".
Sure, but they invested a number 1 pick on him.
Yes, you're right. And
so we don't know what he is yet.
You're right. I agree with that. He still has a chance to be decent.
And you gotta build a real roster around Bryce Young. Like the problem is
they have no O-line. They have nothing.
The problem is coaches don't coach to the player; they coach to the system, which is the dumbest thing I've seen in football.
And that's why the LA needs. Justin Herbert's been doing this with Brandon Staley, his defensive coach, leading the way. I mean, he's put him in so many positions to fail. It has been insane. You've seen what the calls that he's made in certain games. And, I mean, for Justin Herbert to play with a bad offensive line, especially this year with Austin Eckler, a 30-year-old running back who missed 50% of the games this year, and with one receiver that stayed relatively healthy all year long, with a defense that was a top 5 worst defense in the league.
Khalil Mack, get out of there. Go to a winner. Get out of there, man. Khalil Mack, get out of there,
Seattle,
man.
I mean, I will give you this. I'm not saying it's a big difference. You got some good receivers there, but if you're a coach, the one thing you want is a quarterback. That's the biggest thing. That's what you need. That's the hardest thing to find in the NFL. It's the hardest thing.
Right, and they have that.
Yes, correct.
So, which means your time frame is short.
You guys are looking at it all the wrong way, as if you're going in expecting to fail. Like, oh man, I've only got 3 years. I better do this quick.
Have you seen the roster? We just talked about it.
That's why they're all aging. They're aging, meaning their window
coming into the season with that roster,
short,
fellas,
man.
They were picked to win the division by some over the Chiefs. With that roster that you guys are saying is so
It sure
poor.
wasn't us.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't us.
We didn't have
said
that. Not one person up here had that.
We're a little bit smarter than some of those other people out there. So I will say that. But I'm telling you, but these two jobs, it comes down to quarterback. Let me say Titans, Falcons, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Commanders, Seahawks. Give me your top 3 jobs. Like you said, you have the Seahawks, I guess would be, if you're looking at it that way, be your number 1 job, right?
Yeah. And you could knock on the door of Pete Carroll.
Every day.
Every day.
We'll see.
Like, how is that a bad thing?
We'll see how long he's there in that advisor role.
I would say top coaching. We're going to go before we go into the rest of the teams. Top coaching jobs, I would say Seahawks 1. I would actually say Falcons number 2.
Oh, my goodness.
I agree with that. Wait a minute.
Desmond Ridder is your quarterback.
It's not Ridder.
But it's not Ridder.
It's everything else
You have
that's there.
Kyle Pitts. You have Drake London. You have Bijan Robinson.
It doesn't matter.
All you're missing is a quarterback.
Exactly, but that's everything.
You got Arthur Blank who writes blank checks to people. That's fine.
That's exactly.
I mean, you got the owner, blank checks.
And you can get a bridge quarterback in there for right now.
Ain't no bridge. Justin Fields is going to be in a Falcons uniform.
If Justin Fields is there, that's a problem.
It sounds like you guys are okay with being mid. That's what it sounds like. You guys.
Justin Fields is mid to you?
What did I say about Justin Fields?
No, I'm saying they're probably going to get him.
Justin Fields.
The
Falcons.
All right, well, when they do get Justin Fields, when they do, I don't hear they probably
I wish
will.
we could get
when
Justin
they
Fields.
do, then yes, that'll. Then
No,
we can have
like
this
that's the biggest rumor right now that he's going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I hope he does, because you're right. I think that would be great for Atlanta. I think then maybe you can rethink. You're right, because then that opens up the discussion between them and the Chargers. I think if Justin Fields goes to the Falcons, I think that's a toss-up. Then I think either one of them.
But hold on. When San Francisco, for example, we had Jimmy G, and we all sat there and said if they can get themselves a QB that's consistent.
Let me stop you right there.
And then we got Purdy.
Nobody has the talent the Niners had. That's a completely different story.
I'm not saying they do. But Atlanta, if we're being honest, they're setting a really good table right now. They got London. They've got Kyle Pitts. They've got Bijan Robinson. Yeah. They got some really nice pieces there. You give them a Justin Fields
and I agree
or something,
with you, and
it's a problem.
And again, I love all those guys, and I think they will be good.
It's a problem.
But if you're looking at it on paper, all those guys, how many touchdowns they combined for this year?
Because Desmond Ridder, you just said it.
But that's my point. But until we have to. I hope you're right. And I do think those guys will be good. With Justin Fields, I think they would be a lot better. But I just think you can't just assume he's going to be there. I think Justin Herbert's with the Chargers. I think that's just separates.
I'm going to do this. We're going to keep rolling here.
Yeah.
If the Raiders don't hire Antonio Pierce,
I don't even understand this. I don't understand.
If they don't hire Antonio Pierce, they will lose the entire team. Forget the locker room. They're going to lose their fans and everything else.
I don't even understand why this is a conversation.
Like, he is from Oakland. He's a lifelong Raiders fan. He ended up playing for him last year of his career. Sign that man.
Why are they letting the Titans interview? This is crazy to me.
Sign that man.
It's stupid. I don't get it.
And that man should have been signed the day after the season ended.
Well, we all know the Raiders haven't had the best luck with their intern, but Bisaccia did a good job with there. They sent him packing right after
I know why they
didn't
there.
And the Titans in a bad situation, too. Yeah.
So let's quit. And those are the two we'll highlight here quickly. We'll talk about these final ones quickly as we're losing a little bit of time. Arthur Smith out in Atlanta. We talked about that job already. Panthers, you got Bryce Young. We'll see who decides to go there, who's interviewing for that job. David Tepper apparently is infatuated with Ben Johnson from the Lions, but though he did interview Brian Johnson as well from the Eagles. The Lions offense coordinator is who Tepper is going to go after. They said they're going to offer him as much money as they can. We'll see how that turns out. Talked about the Chargers, but the Titans, this one again, guys, catching everybody off guard. Mike Vrabel.
No, it didn't.
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you
for
why.
the most part.
I'm going to tell you why. It didn't catch me off guard.
Well, I could have seen them leaving, but I did not see them firing him.
They didn't want to trade him for a coach for compensation. He's going to be the coach in New England.
It could be.
That's why. They didn't want to give compensation. They could have traded him to a team, they wanted too much for him, so they fired him. They had to give up as much at all, give him any at all. He's going to be the coach of the Patriots.
So let me say, do you guys think Belichick's done that? He's out with the Patriots. That's over.
Yes, that marriage is over.
It's done.
Yeah. And then I kind of agree there too. We'll see what the Titans do, but Mike Vrabel, I don't think you can. I mean,
Titans
I
will have nothing because Vrabel's gone.
Yeah, I'm great.
DeAndre Hopkins was displeased, and Derrick Henry is a free agent, folks.
Do like Tajay Spears a lot though, but Derrick Henry's gone.
Who?
Oh man,
Tajay Spears is good. Though.
I like.
He all right. You know,
Next year, you'll see
all right.
next year.
He's a good young boy.
Yeah,
He like Goodson from the Colts. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll run the carousel quick. Let me get to playoffs coming up here, Matt. Hot seat. Some of the names have been thrown around that maybe shouldn't or should have been. We'll see how you feel here. Well, should the Cowboys be on the hot seat of Mike McCarthy and them have an early exit in the first or second round if they don't win the NFC Championship?
Of course.
Why not?
Yeah, of course.
For the sake of the show,
And your boy, to me, is number one on the hot seat.
Oh, see, I didn't even
don't
get
care
there.
what he
Let's
said.
talk about that right now. You think Nick Sirianni should be on the hot seat?
I
Yes.
absolutely do.
Where am I, man? Like,
Twilight Zone.
Okay, so let me ask you
32
this.
and
Hold
17.
on. I want you to really think this through.
Yes, I
Put the
will.
bias to the side.
Yes.
Are you telling me that this team respects his leadership? This is what
I
teams
think
do.
still as a whole. I mean, look, you
This-
can
whoa,
look
whoa,
at
whoa.
tough stretches. Yes, I do.
Tough
How?
stretches.
This is a tough
How?
stretch.
Wait, tough stretches. You lost to the Giants. You've lost to the Arizona Cardinals. These
were-
two teams are battling for a top 5 draft pick. What are we talking
Listen,
about here?
It doesn't look good. It's bad, but I don't think you can fire the coach who just came off a Super Bowl for one bad stretch the next
I
year.
can.
What do
I know you can.
Huh?
I think you guys are way too short of a leash.
Way
on
too
it.
short of a
32
leash.
and 17, an NFC Championship.
They've
just
done what
last
no
year.
other team has done but the Jets. What are we talking about here, man?
And what statistic is that? What do you
That's like win their first 8 games and then
10-1, yeah, first.
Yeah,
10-1
come
the
on,
first
bro.
11.
What are we doing
it's
here?
It's a bad stretch, and again,
A bad stretch
and we
is
can
what we did,
and
3
And I'll
games.
tell you one thing:
This
if they
is
go through Monday, and
god-awful.
if they lose in that first round to the Bucks, it can maybe be a topic. But I don't think it's something that should gain any weight.
If the
about it.
Eagles are serious about their future of their franchise, they don't have a choice in the matter. You got the Giants picking off bubble screens. Bro, the whole thing got to go. The defensive coach got to go, and the
coordinator's gotta
offensive
go.
coach got to
Yeah.
go, and Nick Sirianni.
Coordinator's gotta go.
Let's keep it a stat. Let's keep it all the way buck. I want people to be real honest about this. I told people when they did it, it was dumb. You don't sit there on a team full of this kind of talent and say, I don't believe in the defensive coordinator. We made a bad decision mid-season. You don't do that. You sit there and you look in the mirror and you say, I'm good enough, I'm bad enough, and people like me. We're going to stick this through. You don't sit there and say, dog, listen, we made a mistake, fellas, because you told every guy in that room, y'all have no idea what y'all doing. Y'all replacing our DC mid-season because the fans are calling for his head? That's what we're doing here? And I'm supposed to sit here and say that Nick Sirianni's he has the respect of that team? No, he don't. He got the respect of that team.
it's
You
not.
got Christian McCaffrey on a couch, a running back, not a quarterback, a running back, calling the play call,
And
what
again-
exactly they're doing.
and I'm with
we're
you,
sitting
Matt,
there
and
talking
that goes
about
back
Nick
to-
Sirianni's leadership? Are
That
we
goes
kidding?
back to Brian John. It's the coordinators. We sat up here in the preseason and we talked about how big of a loss losing those two coordinators would be. Shane Steichen has the Colts almost in the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. I think that's absolutely insane. They lose him. They lose the defensive coordinator, and we're
I'm glad
seeing
you're
what
saying
it looks
this.
like.
I'm
Play
glad you're saying
callers.
this. I'm glad you're saying this. So they lost a lot of talent on the assistant coach side, right?
Coordinators, yes,
Okay.
and that's hard to do.
I'm with you. So let me ask you this. We lost some talent on the coach side. Our coach that
of
was
the
with
year.
us, he should be coach of the year.
Yeah, but Kyle Shanahan calls
No,
your
let's
plays,
keep
though.
it a
That's
buck.
different.
No,
Kyle
no.
Shanahan's your play caller.
No,
Nick
no.
Sirianni doesn't
We're
call
not
the
talking-
plays.
I'm talking about the DC side. So
Okay.
so then we had
That's a good
Wilkes. Ryans was the now we have Wilkes playing. Now they saying Wilkes is getting calls
Yeah,
to
as
be
he
a head
should. We
coach.
talked about that,
and
yeah.
as he should. Point I'm making is we the same that we were from the year before.
This is true.
I'm saying to you, is Nick Sirianni this good coach, or was he a product of great assistant coaches? Because it's looking to me, he has some great assistant coaches.
He's a great team.
Well, again, you can just say that about a lot of different
No,
teams.
you
No,
Yes,
you
you
can't.
can. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
So you're telling me Harbaugh in Baltimore doesn't have good assistant coaches? McDonald and
Is he
Monken aren't
serious right
good.
now?
I mean, what?
He's not serious. He's not serious.
Are you slighting Harbaugh, the coach?
No, I'm just trying to give you an example. What do you
Okay,
mean?
you know what? To be fair, the Ravens have had a great coaching tree forever.
Yeah.
But
Like if the Niners didn't have Shanahan, we aren't talking about
But
this.
again, you talking about the Ravens and 49ers and other teams, the players respect the head coaches. I don't think the players respect Sirianni in Philly like that.
Thank you.
That's all we're saying.
They don't.
Again, and only they know.
Do you think? Let me ask you this: you think Harbaugh or Kyle Shanahan mid-season, when we lost the 3 straight, and we had Purdy doing his problems, what if you think Shanahan would have been like, yo, we made a mistake here, we're gonna switch out OCs or
and again, I disagree.
Mid-season.
It's not that I disagree with the move that they did there. I mean, you're right. You shouldn't cave into the fans center like that. The issue I had with that was going to Matt Patricia. Like, if you have a liable guy that you thought maybe an up and coming guy,
proven nothing in his whole career.
Exactly. So that's
right.
When they made the move to Patricia. You're right.
So that's leadership.
I didn't say it was leadership. I don't like that move. I'm with you guys.
This is what I'm saying, though. When I sit here and I say that,
I just don't think after one small period of time here on the back end of a season, you can question everything he's done for the first couple of years.
All right. Let me just break it down even more for you here, because you're missing the bigger picture, I think. And maybe you're not, but let me just help you out here. Y'all are on the clock. This is what you're not understanding. You got Lane Johnson. Time's ticking. You got Kelsey.
Oh, yeah, it could be their last year.
Time's ticking. You got Hurts' contract. Time's ticking. You got to sign Smith. Time's ticking. Y'all ain't got all this time. I don't know what time y'all on. Y'all ain't got no time. Y'all ain't the Texans where you got, we got my man on the rookie contract. We can build it. Y'all ain't got no time. Y'all got to win now. You ain't got time for later. What are we talking about
But the thing is, a change in leadership isn't going to fix this team. That's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is giving up 35 points a game. That's the biggest issue.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is, what we're both saying is, the players clearly don't respect the situation. You clearly don't have a lot of time. So what I'm saying to you is, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and just let the meteor hit your franchise, or are you going to sit there and be like, yo, we got to make some changes here?
And there's going to be next year. There will be 2 new coordinators, an offensive and a defensive coordinator. I think the head coaching change. If you were to switch a head coach, I don't think much changes. Like, if you were to put, I don't know, give me a head coach that doesn't call plays or calls a defense that you're going to put on the Eagles, you think they'd be drastically better?
So let me ask you this. So
I don't.
We just sat there and we said that the Seahawks were a good fit because of the culture.
Yeah.
What culture has Nick Sirianni installed in Philly? I'll wait. What's the culture he's inspired? That we'll bend to the will of the fans and we'll make a change mid-season. What culture has he put in?
Again, this is only year 3. Pete Carroll was there for 14 years in Seattle. When we're having this discussion a couple years down the road and things change, it could be completely different.
Okay, cool. Any of the 3 teams we named, Seahawks, 49ers, Ravens, any of them made moves that what Sirianni has made in their first 3 years?
Yeah, well, their defenses aren't giving up 35 points a game.
Oh, you're a liar. The Ravens have had a couple bad years defense.
Not like what we've
seen.
And
the Niners have too.
But here's the thing. Harbaugh stood behind Roman when the fans hated it for years.
Yeah, that's true.
But they respected the coach. Nothing happened.
And he didn't change OC mid-season.
It didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, you're talking about guys that have been, like I said, Nick Sirianni's is what, 3rd year?
I don't think Nick Sirianni
been there for 10 plus years.
Can we just keep it a really stack?
Yeah.
I don't think Nick Sirianni is a real coach. And what I mean by that is he's a puppet.
He's a numbers guy.
He's an analytic guy. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't want a coach. You saw what happened with the coach that he had a mouth.
How many NFC championships does Nick Sirianni have?
1.
How many does Kyle Shanahan have?
None.
0.
Right. So what does that mean?
I'm just
that
saying.
Means your guys,
so you want to fire the guy that does have one?
Lies. That they have.
Hold on.
They have one.
They got one.
So where? Hold on.
I'm
glad you said that. Yeah. So where was all this energy and all this brolickness when we went into the stadium? What happened? What happened to all this?
Listen,
no. You want to bring it up. Let's keep it up. Don't turn the song DJ. Let's stay on the same track.
I would love to. What are we talking about?
So you just said, how many does your man have versus how many my man have? I know this.
Yeah.
What was your man doing when we went in that stadium and we whooped y'all? What was he doing? Crying with Big Dom, talking about, you can't do that.
Well, last year, a lot of your guys were crying after they lost in the NFC Championship game. I get you had a quarterback.
Let's keep it a stat. You show we right. We did cry. And what happened when we got in that stadium?
Listen,
no.
1-1.
No. I want you. Nah. Look me in the eye, Kane. Look me in the eye, Kane.
Yeah.
Look me in the eye, Kane.
I'm looking at you, man. I want to hear it. What you got?
What happened? What happened?
A game in the regular.
What happened?
What
happened?
Hey, man.
What happened? That's all I want to know.
Meaningless game in the
Oh,
regular
now it's
season.
meaningless?
Yes, it's
we broke your
meaningless.
team. What are you talking
It's a
about?
me-
Meaningless?
Yo.
Yo,
I hope
bro.
the Niners win the Super Bowl
Yo,
for the
bro.
sake of Matthew Maurer.
What is-
I hope the Niners
What
win
does
the
the Super Bowl got to mean
man.
with anything?
Oh, my goodness.
What's the Super Bowl got to mean with
Because for
anything?
someone-
We're talking about the game we played against y'all. Forget the Super Bowl.
We talked about
the game we played against y'all.
You're living in the past. You're living in the past. This game was weeks ago. Why are you going back to that
Was
game?
the Giants game weeks ago?
No.
Was the Arizona game
Yo,
weeks ago?
I've
No,
never
let's
met-
talk.
Listen,
We want
I've
to talk.
never met a
We wanna
fan.
talk.
I've never met a fan
Let's
so
talk.
concerned with another team. We must have
Let's
really did
talk.
y'all. We must have really did y'all dirty last year for you to be worried
mean?
for 365
What do you
days.
mean?
I've been hearing this for 365 days about the
Who?
Eagles. It doesn't
Me?
matter. Talk about the
I never
Niners.
said it.
Worry about the Niners.
I never
worry
said
about
that.
the Niners, man.
That
Worry
was-
about the
that-
Niners.
I never said anything like that.
No, after every Eagles game, I gotta come
Are
in
you
here
wait a
and
minute.
listen to this.
Why are you talking about the 49ers during when you guys knocked Purdy out of the game? Because I never said a word about it.
I didn't say that. I'm saying every time the
I
Eagles
was on
play
the
a
show
bad
last
game,
year.
when
I
the
didn't say
Niners,
anything.
Niners lost to the Ravens, I didn't say anything. I'm not worried about the Niners. I'm not
What?
worried about what they play in the Ravens. The Eagles lose to the Giants, and you come in here like it's Christmas.
How are you going? No, because it's hilarious to me. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we lost to the Giants, I would be sure to make sure I'm for sure I'm going to get razzed. What are you talking about? Don't get all hurt now. You kidding me? If we lost to the Giants, I have no doubt people will flame me. Are you kidding me right now?
To me, it's the
Are you
Cardinals.
no? Are you kidding me right now?
About what? What?
If my team lost to the
Hey, hey, hey,
Arizona
hey,
and the
hey.
Giants, are you telling me I wouldn't get razzed?
No,
Seriously?
the Cardinals were the bad. That's because they need that wouldn't
That
matter.
Cardinals game was
No,
bad.
no.
That mattered.
I want you to look me dead in my eye and tell me that I wouldn't get razzed.
Well, you got Rams 33-19.
Right.
Welcome.
To the number one team in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. No,
right.
nobody said
got
that.
razzed, wasn't hurt about it. Team went in there, did their thing. If we lost to teams that were battling for
You
the
think
number
Kyle
one
Shanahan
pick,
should be on the hot seat if you guys lost to the Giants? Or you think, Shanahan has to go? That's what you would say?
Shanahan's never folded like your man's folded. What are we talking about here?
Well, I'm saying
Are we serious right
I'm
now?
saying if the Niners would have lost, say, the last 3 games coming in, you thought he would be on the hot seat? Would Shanahan be on the hot seat with that talent and those losses?
If we got destroyed back to back, and Eagle fans can say whatever they want, we know for a fact that Dallas is your rival. That's your Duke. I'm not saying we're that, but I'm saying we for sure are like, I don't know who's Duke's Maryland. We're for sure Maryland, okay?
Yeah.
During the ACC run, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Y'all lost back to back, not even like close games. Like you got destroyed back to back.
Listen, it's bad. No one's
No,
arguing.
I'm
It's
saying
not bad, man.
no. I'm saying then you have the season. Y'all have and look. We'll just say it was football because the Seattle game was just football. As one of those
One of them games.
prayers that just happen, right? And then you systematically get beat by small person Kyle Murray out there throwing.
Here we go.
Okay.
Small person.
I told you that was the bad one.
Okay,
The
that
Cardinals
was
game the
real bad. And don't just talk to me. Talk to your man, Seth Joyner. You Philly fans out here that want to throw, go talk to your man, Seth Joyner, because I ain't alone in my views about this
you're
team.
true about
Go
that.
talk
You're
to Seth Joyner.
Joyner.
Go talk to Seth Joyner. Don't just come to me. Go talk to your man, Seth Joyner. Go talk to your other people that
It
go on
is
these shows.
entertaining. Oh, but again,
Jordan Gunn and
that
all
goes
these other
back-
people. They sit around, they say the same thing I'm saying. Now everybody want to clutch their pearls. What's he saying? Why he saying this? Nah, I ain't the only one. Your own mans be saying that.
So they're saying
What they talking
Sirianni
about?
should be fired too?
They all saying Nick Sirianni on a
I
hot
guess
seat.
we're gonna have.
They all saying it. You
guess
think
I have
Seth
to
Joyner
disagree
don't think
on
Nick
this one.
Sirianni? You think Seth Joyner thinks he got respect?
No, you're right. I know about that one. I know I've seen Seth Joyner, but I'm gonna
Right.
say, the issue is the hot seat and
Yeah.
being fired. I think are a little different.
Okay.
So I think if they lose to the Bucks on Monday,
So
I
good?
think it'll be a hot seat.
Will the hot seat start if they lose on Monday night?
Yes, I will
Okay.
say that.
All right, that's all-
But
that's all
I
it
just,
is.
I
I'm
just
good.
disagree.
I'm good.
I just can't.
I don't know how y'all see it.
I
but
can't see
I'm
him
good.
being fired after this. I just
Go
think that
on.
would
Good.
be
Let's get into
insane.
these
And then I gotta
playoff
pray.
matchups.
Oh,
I gotta
man.
pray my team win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you gotta
Why do
pray.
I gotta pray?
You gotta pray, or you can't. Don't slip up. If they slip up, you're going to hear about it. And speaking of
As
which,
I should, and you should expect to hear about it when you lose to Arizona and the Giants.
you're right, absolutely
Absolutely
right. Agree, and I agree.
Absolutely
100%.
should.
But the firing of the coach is where I disagree. You're right. Give it all. They deserve it, but I don't think he should.
So what?
be
He
fired
should get a
this year.
commendation. He should get a raise. He's done a good job.
No.
What
I
are we
didn't
talking
say
about
that.
here?
I'm just saying. Last year when he had a what's the word I'm looking for?
I thought this was
staff that
Philly
was-
toughness here. What's going on, bro?
Wait, who? Me or
What's going
Sirianni?
on here? Okay. Okay.
I just want to win the playoffs.
We're not going to have time. We're not going to have time to talk about the playoffs.
Look, man. Philly, drop that 0 and get with a hero, man. Go get yourself a real coach, man.
Let's do a quick rundown of the just pick a winner. These teams.
All right, well, let's hop into it here. Week 18. Well, just to recap what happened, Week 18, Steelers beat the Ravens. That got them in because the Jaguars lost to the Titans as favorites to win that one. So the Jaguars go from division leading to out of the playoffs. Texans beat the Colts. They win the division. Bucks beat the Panthers 9-0. What a heck of a game that was. They win the NFC South. Cowboys beat the Commanders 38-10. They win the NFC East. Packers beat the Bears. They get in with that win. Bills beat the Dolphins to win the AFC.
You skipped the line
in Week 18.
You skipped the line.
Oh, I did. Giants spanked the Eagles. That
There
was
you
in
go.
there. That was in there if you guys didn't know that. For the first time in 23 years, the NFL playoff field features 3 franchises that have never played in a Super Bowl: Cleveland, Detroit, and Houston.
I got another stat for you. This is the first NFL playoffs without Brady or Manning since 1998.
There we go. That's somebody
Okay,
else
that's a
winning.
stat.
That's somebody else
That's
winning.
a
There
stat
you go.
right there.
Since 98.
Let's start with Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns had a heck of a season. Flacco's been good the last couple weeks. Texans win the division, though, so they get the home game. But the Browns are favored on the road here, -2.5 against the Texans in Houston. Over-under set at 44.5. This game kicks off the wild card weekend on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. The Texans go from worst to first, fellas, in the division this year. Both of them did not make the playoffs last year, so it's 2 new teams in the playoffs this season. If you remember, they made the Deshaun Watson trade, these 2 teams, just a few years ago. Now they'll be going at it. A rematch of Week 16. C.J. Stroud didn't play in that one. And then Coach of the Year candidates, the top 2 favorites, are going to be battling out here with Stefanski and D'Amico Ryans. Which way you see this game going? Jason, start with you here for this one.
AFC North, baby. Cleveland.
Win outright, Joe Flacco.
Cleveland.
Home dog, not getting on board with the Texans in the home dog.
Cleveland's defense is scary.
It is best against the pass in the league.
It's scary. Cleveland defense is scary. And Amari Cooper will be back for this game.
220 or 250 yards in that first matchup against the Texans. He broke that
and he missed the last 2
single-game
weeks, so
record.
he'll be back for this game.
Browns, though, Matt, 3-5 on the road. They're 8-1 at home, but they got to travel to Houston, where Houston has been pretty good. 6-2 at home with C.J. Stroud. They are underdogs, though. Joe Flacco, 6,104 days older than C.J. Stroud. That's quite the mismatch there. The only other games in NFL postseason history that have a larger gap was both with Brady. That was Brady Mahomes, then Brady versus Jalen Hurts. So big discrepancy there.
Flacco's a 85 baby like myself. You know, that's what we do. You know?
So what are you thinking?
Who
Who are you going with for this one?
I'm going to go Browns. I think it's a tough game either way, but I
it's
agree
a tough
with
game, man.
That defense is just tough, and I think that's something that, Stroud's going to have to adjust to.
And one of those road
Unfortunately,
wins
I
that the
agree with
Browns
that
had
one.
during the season was also against Baltimore. So they can go in hostile environments and win.
I think that's going to be a great game to kick off the playoffs. So I wouldn't be shocked either way. I'm going to go with you guys, though, and lean the Browns just because that defense, you can take that defense on the road to Houston. And again, we've all been big C.J. Stroud fans for quite some time now. Hopefully, though, for me, it's the concern with that Houston defense. I think Flacco might be able to throw a little bit on. Not great against the pass in Houston, though. They will be at home, so we'll see if that changes anything there, but we're both all going with Cleveland. Now this one, Miami, they lose to Buffalo for the AFC East on Sunday night, so now they got to go to Kansas City. A short week, kind of not fair to the Miami Dolphins having to play Sunday Night Football, then go on the road now to Kansas City for a game on a Saturday. So a short week for the playoffs for Miami. Kansas City is supposed to be -10 degrees, and before we get into the details here and pick some games, Jason, I wanted to get your thoughts. This game can only be viewed on Peacock. Streaming only. The first playoff game in history to not be on cable. People are already complaining about it. Jason, what do you think about this? Is
Shout
this
out to
not
Peacock.
ridiculous?
What? I want to pause that at first. What? What? That's the network's going to be on?
You can't watch it on cable. If you don't
Peacock.
have Peacock, you got to pay for it.
That means this game is not worth watching. And NFL knew that already. So they put it on that channel.
Apparently, they paid big money for it. They wanted Mahomes, so they got Mahomes. That's what the deal was.
I don't care. But truth be told, this game isn't worth watching anyway, in my opinion. Because I think
You guys both rolling with Kansas
I
City?
think Kansas City is going to beat the
Wow.
Dolphin out of the Dolphins. I mean,
Really?
the temperature,
That could play a factor. Miami
The home
used to
field-
that. They're not used to that.
Kansas City still has a great home field advantage in their defense. And you get smacked in that cold out there. I don't care if you got Tyreek Hill, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss. It's not happening on Saturday night.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. Matt, how you feel about this one? The Chiefs had a week of rest. They rested the starters last week. Dolphins on a short week. They're battling a ton of injuries. Mostert's missed the last 2 games. Waddle missed last week. Their entire defense is missing. No Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. Their top 2 pass rushers make it top 3. Andrew Van Ginkel is now out with an ankle injury. They're missing their middle linebacker and defensive play caller, Jerome Baker. Xavier Howard is out.
Yo, Eli Apple has been cooked.
He's given up.
Apple turned over.
Last 2
Apple
games,
pie,
he's in trouble. You going with Kansas City?
Man,
Your boy
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. You've been a very vocal Patrick Mahomes guy here on the show.
Yeah.
You leaning with Kansas City?
I'm leaning with Kansas City. Yeah, I just think the defense is going to do enough to keep those Dolphins cold.
Dolphins on the road. That's where they struggle. I've been a big Dolphins guy on the show this year. I think. I want to pick the Dolphins bad, but the way they've been playing, the injuries, they scare me. I think a full healthy, the defense is where I think if you had Xavier Howard, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Jerome Baker, they're not there. I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. In that negative 10-degree weather, I think it's going to be tough for Tua. We know 2 things about Tua, and one of them is that he can't throw in the cold. So we'll see if that happens. Hopefully they can figure something out, though. I'd like to see Miami win, but I see Kansas City getting that one. Then take us to our first game, 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Pittsburgh Steelers get into the playoffs, Jason.
Before you finish this, I owe you an apology. Shake your hand about the Buffalo Bills. I owe you an apology.
Wow.
That's right. You both said they were done and out of the playoffs.
I owe you an apology.
I'm one of them. I'll give you another apology, too.
Get the number 2
and
seed.
It is the darn, is it the right word, right? Dolphins' fault.
It is the Dolphins' fault.
Dolphins beat them, they're not in.
It only matters for me, though, if they win the Super Bowl. So I got my fingers crossed on those odds to win the Super Bowl. Hopefully they're able to pull through. They get the win on Sunday. Now they have home field, at least for this game, potentially how things go. Baltimore will have home field for the playoffs. 10-point favorites, Matt, in this game are the Buffalo Bills, excuse me.
No TJ Watt.
And that's the big thing for me, guys. That grade 2 MCL sprain in last week against the Ravens. That is an absolute killer injury for Pittsburgh. 19 sacks, that led the NFL this year. Bills have won 11 or more games for the 4th straight season. They're 4-1 in playoff games in Buffalo since 2017. They've won 5 straight. But Mason Rudolph, guys, has led the Steelers to 3 straight wins and into the playoffs. Does the Steelers have a chance in this one on the road at Buffalo, man?
No chance, unfortunately. No chance.
I'm going to lean yes.
The Steelers have a chance, or yes?
Yes, they have a chance because Josh Allen's going to throw a few picks.
This is true.
Yeah, he will. We do know that.
But
he will throw 3 more touchdowns.
But Jalen Warren is the reason why they'll have a chance in this game. Listen. That's their starter right there.
Yeah, and
they've both been running
well.
They
wasting George Pickens' life, man.
Yeah, I can't disagree there.
But I think
he's starting to, feel it.
I think we'll have a good playoff game, because I saw Deontay Johnson last week for the first time in 2 years. Oh, there he is. He still plays for you guys. Okay.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, Mason Rudolph. They haven't had really a quarterback, and we've talked about it, Matt, as well, about Kenny Pickett not being the answer.
Yeah. Mason Rudolph should have been the starter the entire year.
I mean, I think it's easy to say now, and I agree with you.
The entire year.
But if you're a Steelers fan or you remember Rudolph playing in some of those games before this year,
listen,
he was awful.
He survived a helmet smack on the head from Myles Garrett. That man
deserves it. Took it like a champ.
That's true.
So
and he's the person who's been in the longest knows the offense.
That's
the
right.
most. Mm-hmm. Whatever offense it was.
Yeah. That's right. Who knows what they're doing over there? And we'll see what happens to Mike Tomlin. He should be there. It would be amazing if he weren't to finish 10-7 and make the playoffs with this team and that many quarterbacks. If he's not a finalist for Coach of the Year, then who knows what they're doing over there with the NFL awards. Let's talk about the Packers and the Cowboys. This will be America's Game of the Week. 2 historic franchises battling it out here in the playoffs on Sunday afternoon. Cowboys, though, over a touchdown favorites here at home where they are undefeated, 8-0. Jordan Love, though, has been hot for the Packers, takes them back to the playoffs this year in his first year as the starter. 32 touchdowns for Jordan Love. That's second in the NFL this year. Cowboys plus 10 in turnover differential. The defense has been fantastic. Packers have won 3 in a row. Dallas has won 2 in a row. The Mike McCarthy Bowl, as he's taken on his former team, the Green Bay Packers. The Packers, though, 4-1 against the Cowboys in the last 5 games over the last couple of years.
It's actually a bigger streak than that.
So what do you think? A lot of people on the Cowboys, it takes a lot to get that line over 7. It's up to 7.5 now. They're big favorites. Cowboys are.
They're going to lose.
You think losing?
That'd be good for the Eagles and the Niners. More so the Eagles.
Green Bay will beat Dallas. In Jerry's world. Outright. In
First
Jerry's
loss
world.
of the season? And if
that's
the
what
case,
I'm saying.
Mike McCarthy's out, right? They lose that game, McCarthy's out.
So then you get press conference Monday morning. Mike McCall no longer be the Cowboys coach.
Right.
What do you think, Matt? Cowboys and the Packers. Jordan Love, I know we've been up and down on him this year. He's looking really good lately.
Yep.
With the Cowboys 8-0 at home. Do they have a
I'm
shot?
not a fan
Packers
of the
have a
Cowboys
shot?
either, but man, I think they can squeak this out.
Okay.
I don't want them to win. I don't want them to win.
I mean, I respect it.
Yeah, I don't want them to win. I would love if Green Bay upset the apple cart and knocked them out.
That'd be nice.
But yeah, no.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
That would be nice as we getting out to the. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Cowboys here too. But I'm with you. I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think the Packers could cover that 7.5 if I had to pick.
Yeah,
away
definitely
there.
cover that.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a better game than people are giving it credit for. I know all of us feel the same way, so we're into that. But a lot of people have been talking about the Cowboys blowing out the Packers. So we'll see how that
No,
goes.
I think it'll be a blowout.
Excuse me, coming in on
It's
Sunday.
the mid bowl coming up. Good
And now
Lord.
this one right here, though, could be a good one. This is the Rams and the Lions.
This is the mid bowl.
Sunday night football. I think this could be the best game of the weekend
middest of
here.
the mid
Sunday
right
night, 8
here,
p.m.
boy.
The first playoff game in Detroit since 1993.
Shout out to
that
Carson
place.
Wentz.
That place is good. Threw a touchdown over the weekend.
did.
Yes, he did.
Beat my
Man,
team.
in the NFL, Jesus.
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
That's
didn't
right.
Get it done.
6-2 at home this season are the Lions. They have outscored opponents by almost 9 points per game when they are at home. But this is Matthew Stafford's return to Detroit.
And it's golf versus old team.
And golf versus the Rams. This has a lot of storylines. Detroit is the top 5 scoring offense. They average over 30 points at home. The Rams, though, have averaged over 30 points a game the last 7 games of the season. They have been going at the Lions defense ranks in the bottom of 10 in the points allowed, so maybe that's something the Rams offense can take advantage of. Jason, you saw the Rams take your Ravens into overtime in Baltimore. Besides the Ravens, you could argue that the Rams may be the hottest team in the NFL coming into the playoffs with these wins and how they've been playing. Can Matthew Stafford go on the road and give Detroit a heartbreaker in his old city?
No. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
Detroit, you got?
Sound
Sound like you don't have any confidence in the Rams.
I don't.
I
don't. Okay. I have confidence in Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
I don't have confidence in Matthew Stafford.
Oh, man, the way
That's
he's been
mid.
playing.
He mid. It's the battle of the mid quarterback.
Because
Can you be mid and win a Super Bowl or you mid now? You might win now this season.
yes, Trent Dilfer won the
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Bowl.
Oh,
so
you're
He's
right.
always been
I'm
mid
talking
to me,
about
though.
be the primary person on offense.
But he was my mid.
Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
Wanna keep going?
Brad Johnson. Oh, my
He
God.
was the mid before the ascension of Kirk Cousins, who overtook the mid.
Yeah, like
So-
you can.
I
yeah.
blame Detroit for his midness, though, and not the defense he played with for those years. Hey, he got a Super Bowl, so you got the Lions winning this one.
No,
big,
I
or-
got the Rams.
Oh!
Yeah.
What you figured? How?
I'm going with the spirits. I think all those years that Matt Stafford was trash with the Lions, I think
Was he trash or was the team trash?
both.
I think the team was trash.
I think the team was trash.
Team was definitely more trash than he was trash. But,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's gonna be some karma. I think he's gonna get the dub, man.
I think that would be a bad scenario for. If I'm the Niners, I would rather play the Lions than I would with the Rams. If I'm San Fran. I think it's a divisional game.
Okay.
I think that makes things tougher.
Why don't you worry about your team? Why are you so upset
Trust
on my
me,
team?
Trust me, I'm very worried about. I'm very worried about the Eagles on Monday. You would have. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm very.
So I hit him with his own line right there.
We're
see?
on the subject on the show. Right?
Made it a
Talking
hot
about
bar.
the game,
I
man.
made it a hot song, dog.
Oh man.
I'm just saying I think the Rams and Niners would be a tougher matchup. I think this is a great game too. This one is the toughest one for me. I've been going back. I've been thinking about it.
I thought
today.
you were on the Detroit.
I
bandwagon,
was.
though.
This was
Sam Laporta and-
this was
and-
him being injured really hurts. I think this was the team. I circled this 2 weeks ago when it was potentially lining up this way. I said there's one team Detroit does not want, and I said that is the Rams to come to their place in the first round of the playoffs. It ended up being that. That's what we're gonna get. I think it's gonna be a heck of a game. This will be the best game, in my opinion, of the weekend.
Listen,
And
so-
I think the Lions hold off the Rams with a field goal victory. Would not shock me at all if the Rams win.
Listen, shout out to my 2 of my friends, well, 3 of my friends who are lifelong Lions fans. They're Detroiters.
shout out is right.
Bless y'all.
You know,
He deserves
you
that.
guys know who you are. You guys sacrificed the Pistons for the Lions this year, and it's working out in your
Yes,
favor
they
right now.
did. Yes,
So,
they
yeah.
did.
Godspeed to you guys.
Hey, they got to
Yeah.
win, though, so shout out to the Detroit Pistons. They Again, broke the Sixers, I think, process record, right, for consecutive losses. In a row.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's good. Good. Shout out to them for not having the Sixers with that record.
That's another segment, but
any longer.
They have to change the culture with that too, starting with Monty. But that's another story.
And we'll round it out with Dennis's Tampa Bay Bucks. They won the division with a 9-0
Bucks versus
9-0 baseball victory over the Carolina Panthers on Sunday.
Yeah.
Here we go. Rematch of Week 3, 25-11, a game the Eagles won back when they were pretty decent. They've lost now 5 of 6, and Tampa, though, has won 5 of 6, so kind of trending in different directions. Buccaneers gave up 250 yards passing per game. Just 3 teams allowed more, so they can be thrown on. Can the Eagles do it? We'll find out. But over the last 6 games, the Eagles are giving up over 30 points per game, second most in the league. They're allowing 385 yards per game, third most in the league. The defense on paper and visually with your eyes, they are atrocious.
Nice.
This could be a close game.
Be nice.
Matt, I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Tampa Bay, 3-point underdogs at home. Home dogs here to the Philadelphia Eagles. Matt, let them have it. What do you got?
Keep it PG, sir.
I'm just saying, man. It says on this piece of paper here, it says Eagles have lost 5 out of 6, and Tampa Bay has won 5 out of 6.
Here we go.
2 teams trending in opposite directions here as Dennis comes
When
out.
when I say that somebody's on the hot seat, you would think losing 5 of 6 would definitely qualify
If you
for
didn't
that.
go to the Super Bowl the year before, maybe.
Now, let me just say this. You struggled with the Cardinals. You struggled with the Giants.
Mightily.
And I'm supposed to believe that you're not going to struggle with Mike Evans, Otten, Godwin. I don't know,
boy
man.
Baker. Don't forget about Baker Mayfield.
Now, there is the Baker Mayfield, so I will say this. If somehow,
Gotta put him on the run, right? You got to make him run.
This is true. If somehow that defensive line can get pressure on Baker Mayfield, they have a chance. They do have a chance. Although, with the sudden plays by the brilliant DC that is now having Hassan Reddick play coverage,
Matt Patricia.
I don't understand it, but whatever. God. Shout out to Matt Patricia. You a real one. Listen, man. Who knows what happens? I mean, look, the Eagles on paper should win. But
well, like you
with
said,
the
though,
last
they should have
5
won the
or
last
6, it ain't happened. So, look.
Who you picking, man? All let's talk. Who you picking?
That's right.
I'm picking Tampa Bay, man.
Tampa Bay to win outright.
I think the Eagles want to be done with this season, and I think your boy Nick going to do some explaining. See, what happened was I lost it.
And that could very well be the case. We'll find out come Tuesday. You talking about the Mike McCarthy press conference come Monday. If they were to drop that game to the Packers, might be a press conference just to fire some coordinators, et cetera, coming on that Tuesday after Monday night football.
I got Tampa Bay too, though.
Double up on Tampa. I know Dennis has Tampa.
And not as a hater, not as anything like
no,
that. I have it just as
I expected you to take Tampa. I did.
The momentum.
Yeah.
The momentum. And I don't think you have anyone to run with Evans or Godwin, as we stated.
Well, I think that is clear.
And Baker's stats this year, he's actually a top 10 quarterback this year.
Actually balling.
Yes,
So it's like, however,
that.
to play devil's advocate, you can have a 100-yard game from Swift, AJ, and Devontae.
That's a fact.
And that could happen too.
That's a fact.
So it's like,
I like the over in this game.
Just picking, I would probably pick the Eagles. But common sense and what I actually see right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean,
If
that's what you got to go with, right? So what you go with Tampa
I'm
Bay?
going Tampa Bay.
And again, I can't fault you guys at all for those picks. The way that things have been trending, can't blame you. I'm going to stick with the Eagles to win a narrow game, a field goal victory.
Well,
I'm
that's
gonna stay with the line.
the spread.
Exactly. So I'm going to stick with Vegas on this one. I think the Eagles win by a field goal. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bucs somehow pulled this one out the way the Eagles have been
And
playing.
the reason why I'm picking the Bucs, honestly, the deciding factor is that the game's in Tampa Bay. That's my deciding factor.
And home dogs, giving the Bucs not a lot of respect here at
And
home.
that's why they'll
But
come
I will
out
say this, though,
firing.
too. That we talked about the NFC South. You know, they don't really scare a lot of people. Right? I mean, they're 9-8. They have an above 500 record. There's one team that the Eagles, I think if the Eagles played any other team in the field, I think they go down. I know that's crazy to say right now, but I think if they play the Rams, I think they lose that game. I think if they play the Packers, I think they might lose that game. I think the Bucs are their best shot.
Perfect
I think
storm?
it's the perfect matchup
storm.
for them.
I'm mad at
and
that.
this is a chance for them to, I don't want it maybe a get right. If they somehow get it together and beat the Bucs by a few scores, maybe they can put something together. If they pull out a narrow victory, I think it could end next week. So we'll figure out how this one plays out. But I'm going to go with the Eagles in narrow margin.
I am mad at
What
that.
game you guys looking to forward the most here over the weekend, Matt? I'll start with you.
I mean, for me, I'm just interested in
Watching.
yeah.
You know, when your teams are both number 1 seeds, you don't care.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. You guys aren't playing this weekend?
No. Oh, you're not playing. You're playing this
You're playing,
weekend?
right?
Yeah. Last
Wait,
year
wait.
was nice.
We're number
I had
1.
this week off last year.
We're number 1.
That was week
We're
off
10 and
last
1.
year.
But you guys did win last year, though.
right.
You did win last
So
year.
there's some
Something to look back
consolation
on,
there.
right? Yeah, you can look
Yeah.
back on that.
Living in the past.
Odds. Oh, here we go.
Here we
What
go.
team was? That's a great question to end on here today. What team was the biggest disappointment this season? We all sat here. I can't. Matt, go ahead. Just say it if you want to say it to start, because I don't know if I can disagree with you.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
11-6. 10-1. They again butcher it down the stretch. Their over/under was set at 11.5, so they do go under, but by just half a game. But after that start, with the way that they folded down the stretch, as Matt said, we don't have an issue with that answer.
It's a tie between the Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals.
With the injuries, yeah, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah,
I ain't mad at that.
I'm going to throw out another team here, though, and I will say this one. I'm going to say Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say
yeah,
Jacksonville.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
Jacksonville,
I'm sorry.
they were
Forget-
kind of in
forget
the
Cincinnati.
driver's seat
Jacksonville.
for the
Jacksonville.
playoffs. I mean, just a
Yeah.
few weeks ago, it looked like it would be impossible for the Texans to catch
Playoffs.
They
Playoffs.
blow it. Trevor Lawrence gets hurt. They fired everybody today except for Doug Peterson. So I'm going to go with the
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars. They hurt us
Jacksonville.
there.
They went from selling divisional. They went from selling
Could've
playoff
went to the Super
tickets.
Bowl. Could've went-
No, they went
that's
from selling
right.
playoff tickets to not being in the playoffs. They had to refund all the tickets back. all the
Playoffs?
money back.
Never tweet that until you
make the playoffs.
the
They were selling.
playoffs.
They were selling tickets for a home playoff game.
Man, now.
fact.
So quickly here before we go, odds to win the Super Bowl right now, the Niners
Still
are still
Niners.
the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Ravens small right behind them, and then the Buffalo Bills coming in
for you.
at that third spot. So let me hear, who you guys taking as your? Well, I guess this is a dumb question. This is the one season where I know which team you guys are going to choose
Right. We
anyway.
coming for y'all.
So Niners,
Believe
I'm
that.
assuming, and you're choosing the Ravens. I'm going to stick. Let's get your Super Bowl matchups here. We're on the playoffs coming up this weekend. Let's get our matchups here, Jason. Who do you got as your Super Bowl matchup here?
There's only one to pick.
I'm assuming you'll take the same one. Huh?
Exactly. That's it.
I have a sleeper pick. If they get out this divisional game this weekend, I can see Ravens versus them boys.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness!
Okay.
I will. for
If
some
they get out
reason,
this weekend, that's a big
I'm
if.
with Stephen A. and I think something always going to happen to the Cowboys. I think no matter what, they just can't do it. I don't know what it is yet, but
That's
how
my
I
dark
feel.
horse. Like that's not even
Yeah.
but I really
I'm
want
mad at that.
I really want the
You have a dark
rematch.
horse in the AFC? If
Oh,
it's
we
not-
definitely want
if
the
it's not
rematch.
your- if it's not your Ravens, who's it going to be?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay, good. Now, what do you think?
It's January Joe was different. I experienced it myself as a Ravens fan. January
That's
Joe was a
true.
different
Yeah.
animal.
Point there,
And
man.
he has a defense that's just as good as that 2012 defense in Cleveland right now.
That would be something. And quickly, just before I go on to Matt here, just for a second, and give a quick answer from you. Say the Browns do win the Super Bowl. They win it. They got Watson under contract for some time after this.
Oh, they got to sever that.
What do they- do you
Yeah.
bring Joe Flacco back
Yes.
for a year?
You-
All right, that's all I wanted to know.
you gotta
That's
sever
all
that.
I wanted to
You gotta
know.
sever that.
All right, there you go. Matt,
too
what
much
are you
money.
thinking? Niners? You got the Niners, I'm assuming, out of the NFC.
If by some miracle Baltimore doesn't get out, I think like I hate this team, but I think Buffalo. I think Buffalo.
I hope so. I'm with you there.
They'll find a way to lose Super
Get
Bowl,
some
though.
guys back on defense. Oh, that would be killer for me if they lost in the Super Bowl.
Another one.
So any team you think the Niners don't make, any team you like in the NFC maybe?
I agree with Jason's take that if there's any team that I think can beat
Cowboys.
us, I think the Cowboys can beat us if we play them. I think they have some scary stuff over that side.
I think the Niners would pound Dallas. I think they pound everybody. Maybe it's weird. I
Well,
think
they
the
both pounded- they
I
both
think
pounded the
Rams
Eagles,
and the
all right?
Lions could get. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. What a show we've had tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. That'll do it. I'm going with my Super Bowl
Go
matchup
Eagles.
here. I would love to pick the Eagles
Your-
out of the
your
NFC.
matchup, your matchup, uh-huh.
I'm going to go with the Bills and the Niners, as I would say right now.
Okay.
But again,
Bills,
that
Niners?
could change.
Okay.
That could change
Ooh.
come Monday if I see the Eagles with some life. in a double-digit win over Tampa.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get something
Listen,
going here. I'm sick of giving up 400 yards of offense and over 30 points every week. Let's
The
see if we can
Ravens
do
have
that.
to win the whole thing because I would not hear the end of it if they don't. And not from y'all.
It's been
I'm
a
about to
good.
say,
I'm going to say we haven't been that
I'm not
bad
really a
with you guys.
razzer.
not from
Oh,
y'all.
yeah, no.
They have to win it all.
I hear you.
They have to win it all.
I'll tell you
And
what.
apparently, my team has to win it all now.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, I'll
Because
tell
there's
you what.
somebody hurt.
I will tell you, if we do get a Ravens-Niners Super Bowl, that's
Oh,
going to be
my
something
geez.
else.
Hey,
We'll
that-
see if we get that one.
That hurt. That loss hurt it, didn't it? This year, it hurt it.
Oh, the Niners game. how much
The Niners game.
Yeah,
It
that's
hurt
one to
it, didn't
forget for
it?
sure.
It hurt it. It hurt it.
Cowboys too. That was one. Hey, we'll see what happens in the playoffs. A lot could turn around though. Things aren't trending for the Eagles that well, but the Ravens and the Niners, they are sitting at home.
Shout out to
this
Seth
weekend.
Joyner. You keeping it real, Seth. Keep
Yeah, we
rocking
got to
with
get
me,
Seth on the show.
Yeah,
We got to
that's
get
right.
Seth
That
on the
would be
show.
Because he spits that real.
That's right. We'll get Seth
Yeah.
on the show. Shout out to Jacob Sports there, what they're doing up in Philadelphia. So closing arguments here, guys. We were first show in 2024. We go a little bit longer. Got to get everything in. So we hit everything. Closing our remarks as we head into Super Wild Card Weekend on the pretty much eve of the playoffs here in 2023. We sat here a few months ago and talked about the upcoming NFL season, and now here we are, playoff.
Man, it's playoff time. Get your popcorn ready.
That's right.
That's it.
We'll see what happens. Again, coaching, NFL playoffs, a lot going on. Some NBA stuff as well we'll get to next time. Sixers in action tonight. Make sure you tune them out. But for everybody here, Dennis, phenomenal question. Bucks and the Eagles, Niners and the Ravens are at home resting. We will see you next Monday night ahead of the Bucks and the Eagles playoff game potentially. So keep an eye out. That'll do it for us today.
Shout out to Caleb.